Dr. Marcelino, there's a lot of principles that are discussed in the profit spike system, and as you know, we've gone over it and you're applying it now with great success. The one principle about identifying the customer's needs, wants, and concerns, tell me about how you're applying that now and how that's affected your business. I want to know how that's working out for you.
Well, Kereakos, one of the things I've noticed is that as business owners, we always think we know what our patients or our customers want. But basically what we do is we actually use a certain pattern, and we actually fall consistently in this pattern. We have, in our practices, we have a certain way that we've been seeing patients and run them in, run them out, and we actually try to pattern everybody into that, like molds. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't fit, and that's something that makes them feel very uncomfortable because it's not personalized.
Did you realize this before? Because we talked about this, and you had said that you're heartfelt about what you do because you're passionate about what you do, because it's
Absolutely.
what you love, and you don't do it for the money. You do it because you want to help people.
Absolutely.
But you always told me that you just knew that there was something that could have been done better, but you didn't know what it was. And I think we've identified it with the customer's needs, wants, and concerns, and knowing what they want. Tell me how that is I mean, are people saying anything? I mean, are they responding to that? Are you noticing a difference?
Absolutely. Actually, they give me their testimonials, and it's absolutely incredible, some of the things that people say. I mean, there's nothing like actually feeling special when you go see the doctor.
Now before this, you weren't doing that, and you gave me an example once of a woman, an elderly woman who, and by the way, for the people watching, your father was a doctor, so you became a doctor, so this is kind of like a family legacy, so to speak. What did she say to you?
Well, it's very interesting because my father had a certain way of practice, and so did I. And we were different. And one time, this lady called me through my answering service because she thought that she had an emergency. And I called her back, and I saw her later. I said, Mrs. So-and-so, this was not an emergency. And she turned to me and scolded me. She says, your father would have thought that this was an emergency. It was an emergency for me, and you should have treated it as an emergency. That was a learning lesson for me. Absolutely.
So you realize that what you thought wasn't really important was critically important to that person.
Because I should have tailored it for her. And because I had to customize my needs and her needs. I should have customized my services for her.
So the principle makes sense now that you're applying it and you're seeing the results, correct?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yet at the same time, Kerry, one of the things that we really need to understand is that when we customize our services and tailor to the individual, at the same time we have to maintain integrity, and we have to be true to ourselves. There are individuals that actually have certain intentions, drug seekers, etc., and we actually have to be able to be upfront and clear as to what we can provide, what kind of service we can provide, and what we can't. One of the things I've noticed is that they appreciate that.
Of course, yep. That's what they expect. So many times we go to a business for a service and we're just treated like we're being processed, basically. We're in and we're out. They don't care. They don't know. They don't remember you afterwards. They don't follow up with you. Now, you have spent a lot of time, many years in schooling, and a lot of money to get your specialized degree to become a doctor. In that time, and with all the money that you spent, were you ever taught how to successfully run a business so it's run effectively and profitably?
By who? The fact of the matter is, I was taught medicine in medical school and residency by academic physicians. These guys had never seen a medical practice ever before. So basically, when I finished my residency, I had to fend for myself. And I went to the doctor's dining room and listened and tried to learn. And these guys were not necessarily willing to share a lot of this information because I was in direct competition with them.
So would it be fair to say that although you've had the many years of schooling, you've spent all this money, you've got your degree, and you're really, really good at what you do, that you're truly not a businessman?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, well, this is interesting. One of the doctors did give me a little bit of information that was very, very helpful. He said, you're going to make mistakes. Try to make the least costly mistakes.
Very good advice. Does the profit spike system work?
Absolutely. I'm very happy with it.
Is it everything that you were told it would be, and is it everything that you expected it to be?
And more.
Good. Was it the complete solution for you? Did you find that it solved every problem that you were having with cash flow, profitability, employee management, the level of service you're delivering with your customers, the follow-up, which is important because so often we spend money to get customers in and we do nothing to keep them, the accounting, the back room, everything? Is it a complete system?
It's a complete system. I mean, I'm really delighted because I understand at this point the working and total operation in my practice, something that I really never understood before. I mean, you're talking to doctors that have a hard time even turning on a computer. So it was absolutely incredible.
And the thing is, most people, when they go into business, regardless of what business they're in, don't realize the many areas that they need to manage in order to be successful and profitable. And so often people buy into a system that's not complete because it was created by someone who doesn't have all the answers, and therefore you're looking constantly to find the missing pieces. As a business owner, you told me a story once where you invested in a system to help improve your business. $60,000 in a failed system. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Biggest mistake in my life. Unfortunately, I, as you said, spent $60,000 with a company that I thought was a good, credible company, and unfortunately, they were poor. They didn't know anything about the operation of my business. And again, they didn't customize anything for me. It was totally incomplete. The support was horrible, and I lost all my money. And when I came back to them and asked them about this, they were not willing to help me in any way. And they told me that I had a binding contract, I had to pay, and unfortunately, Kereakos, I was not the only doctor. There was a lot of doctors that actually lost their money.
Unfortunately, that's a very common scenario. A lot of companies invent products based on a theory or guesswork. They've never had hands-on experience in any business, let alone the business you're in. And then they put together a system that they think works. They really haven't tested or tried it in the field, so to speak. Right. And then they convince you through fancy marketing and fast-talking salespeople to buy into it, and they lock you into the contract, and it's too late. It's very unfortunate. As a business owner, and after being through that experience, what was one of the things that you looked for? Was a guarantee important to you at this point? I mean, what do you think about the profit spike guarantee?
Well, it's the best you can ever get. You know, I mean, when you told me what it was, and I mean, a 100% money-back guarantee, hey, you know, no questions asked. Who can question that? I mean, the fact when you told me that at the end of 1 year's time, if I don't actually recover 10 times my investment, I would get my money back. I don't think anybody in the field can actually offer you something like that.
Do you think that you're going to make 10 times more than your investment?
Absolutely. I feel great about it. I see it already.
Is the profit spike easy to use? I know that when I was first in business, one of the issues that I had when I was investing in systems, trying to figure out and buy one that was actually working and would produce results, was they were so difficult to operate. I don't have any computer background. I didn't have any technical skills when it came to computers and programs, and I found that I would buy the system, then I'd have to go get training on how to operate the computer and Word and, you know, all these programs. How did you find the profit spike system to be? Because I made I went out of my way to make sure that it was easy, step by step, that anyone could do it. Did you find that to be the case?
Absolutely. It was consistent. I was able to actually take it from A to Z and understand it. I mean, so easy even a doctor could do it.
Even a doctor can do it. That's great. Would you recommend this to your colleagues?
Absolutely. I think anybody who wants a chance in improving their situation, especially now in a down economy, they need to actually take a look at the profit spike, because I'm delighted. I'm delighted. I mean, right now, the way I see it, because doctors are having a tough time in this economy. And, you know, right now I'm looking at 2 colleges coming up in the next couple of years. So I had to basically look at the dollars. And
weddings.
And weddings, right. Hopefully my daughter will wait a little bit longer, but...
One more thing, the customer service piece. I know we talked about customers' needs, wants, and concerns, but taking care of the customer. We are all in the business of marketing first, and then we are whatever it is that we do, which you've learned by following the profit spike system. What have you done differently, or how has the profit spike system helped you to develop a customer service offering in terms of training your employees, how they greet people, making eye contact, answering the phone properly, following up, you making phone calls personally, you answering your phone personally, which is something that I've never heard of any doctor doing. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, actually, that's part of tailoring yourself to the individual, customizing it. I mean, everybody wants to feel special, and that's one of the things that you do. I insist that we apply your system with everyone in my staff, and it's working.
And some of the things that are in the system that we talk about as far as delivering that unparalleled customer service, were you a little hesitant and resistant at first? Did some of the things that I instruct you to do seem a little bit just like that they didn't matter? And do you realize now that they do matter?
I felt uncomfortable because taking testimonials from my patients was a little bit different. I mean, we haven't done that in practice, but that's probably why we have failed in practice over the years.
And what about making sure that your employees are making eye contact immediately, and when they hand the chart to the customer, that they don't do it in a rude way and slam the window shut?
Kereakos is not just the employee. It's not only the employees. It's the doctor too. I have a patient that came to see me, and she was telling me that she came to see me. She came to interview me first to see if I was the right doctor. And then she told me that she was switching doctors because the other doctor was using a computer, and he would never look at her.
He wasn't giving her 100%
would never look at
attention.
her. Would look at the computer, never looked at her.
And you know,
simple eye contact.
And that's the reason why people fail in all businesses, because they don't give 100% of the attention to their customer. If you don't do that, they're going to end up going somewhere else. So if you had to sum up the customer service part, what would you say? Is it effective?
Very effective. And I'll tell you something very interesting that happened to me yesterday. You know, I try to watch myself, and I'm pretty consistent, but I let one of my patients go without following up on something. This morning I got on the phone, I called her up, I apologized, and I said, come back, we're going to check this and so forth and so on. And basically it was not an added charge, it was very brief. You know something? She was absolutely delighted.
And you know what?
She walked away with an incredible smile.
You have now captured her for life.
Absolutely.
That's excellent. Thank you, Dr. Alberti.
Thank you here.